All right. Hi, I'm Kelly Hugert. Kind of sounds like yogurt. And I'm actually sharing some of my top secrets of ways to recover from trauma, particularly complex post-traumatic stress disorder, so you can regain calm and happiness. And actually, these are excerpts of the books that I'm working on right now. And so let's just get started, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. So I love this quote. There are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds. And one of the things with complex post-traumatic stress disorder is so deep, these wounds, because it goes on. Typically, these are series of events and trauma and abuse that goes on for a long period of time. And these feelings and these wounds genuinely really do go very, very deep. So I just want to talk a little bit about some of the emotional symptoms: anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, withdrawing from others, not trusting others, suicide ideation, thoughts of self-harm. Of course, if you have any kind of suicide ideation or thoughts of self-harm, please reach out to a therapist. Please call 911. Please get the support that you need right now. Just stop watching the video and do that. Now, feelings of sadness or hopelessness, irritability, mood swings, focus issues. A lot of times people who have complex PTSD have short-term memory loss and other types of things. They're not sure what they're doing right now, or they just forgot something, or like, oh, what did I just say? And so there are a lot of different emotional symptoms, but here are a few. And here are some of the physical symptoms. But before we talk about some of those, mind-body medicine is something that I'm going to be talking about, that and share a little bit more about my story as well. But mind-body medicine is not really an alternative per se, but it is an integrative medicine protocol that most experts are not being exposed to. So here's a quote from Bernie Siegel: "Mind-body medicine should not be an alternative, nor should it be complementary and integrative medicine be something that doctors are not exposed to during their training." So really, it's really something that should be incorporated in conventional medicine, and it's not. And so thus, mind-body medicine has created their own avenue and venue to trauma recovery, because conventional medicine is often really falling short. So here are some of the conventional, or some of the physical symptoms: insomnia and nightmares. In my case, I actually had nightmares, and my complex PTSD came from a long-term previous relationship. I actually had nightmares for probably at least 5 years. Fatigue, edginess or agitation, aches and pains. I remember I had a back pain for probably at least a year before I realized there was really nothing wrong with me, but it was all the trauma that was stored in my body. Insomnia, or difficulty sleeping, or when you do get asleep, again, nightmares or night terrors even can come up with people who are thrashing out in their sleep. So I'm Kelly Hugert, and this is my previous Irish ginger pie, cranberries ginger pie. This is actually a picture of us at Special Olympics. Ginger pie was an agility dog, a therapy dog, and really very great emotional support dog as well. And I lost her of April a few years ago, and I actually now picked up another Irish, but I love this picture because I'm an Irish Terrier mom. So anyway, I want to tell you a little bit more about me, though. I'm a mind-body medicine expert. I'm a clinical aromatherapist, clinical herbalist, course creator, workshop creator, positive psychology coach that specializes in complex stress syndromes like PTSD, complex PTSD, and women who consider themselves Wonder Women and they have burnout, or some people call it adrenal burnout. It's not the correct term, But be that as it may, women who have burnout or even people who have chronic issues, often stress is the underlying factor in that, and it's really not being addressed. I'm a third year PhD student at Saybrook University in the mind body medicine program, and actually starting the hypnotherapy, clinical hypnotherapy program as well, which will be integrated into my practice. I'm a martial artist. I have a fifth degree black belt on the stand up side and a combatives belt in Gracie Jiu Jitsu, Reiki master teacher, and of course, Irish Terrier mom of Slancha. And I'm also the author of an upcoming book, and this is what my book is actually about: mind body medicine practices for complex stress syndrome. So I'm anxiously awaiting the release of that, and I wanted to share a couple of the tips that not only that I use with my private clients that are in the book as well. So hopefully you'll get that when it comes available. So complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a stress disorder. It is an extreme stress-based disorder due to prolonged or repetitive events, often childhood emotional abuse, domestic violence, which can include financial, emotional, physical abuse, any kind of interpersonal violence, either be that emotional, physical, sexual, etc. And clients often exhibit distortions of emotional regulation, like pervasive negative self-concepts. Difficult with interpersonal relationships, particularly lack of trust, is one of the things that comes up. There are also persistent feelings of shame, guilt, and failure. So nothing they ever do is ever good enough. And these cumulative effects of abuse in any form I mentioned above, like abandonment, a parent with not withholding praise, a mate, a spouse, a mate, etc., withholding love or any kind of abandonment can give rise to complex PTSD. If you're involved in a relationship with a narcissist, covert narcissist, someone has borderline personality disorder, and in the long-term stay of that relationship, or even can be in there for a year, this can give rise to complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Unfortunately, is rarely diagnosed, especially in women. Women are just thought to be on their period or have menopausal symptoms, or the doctor might just say you have anxiety and depression. Often the problem is it's not diagnosed, or it's misdiagnosed, and these women are not getting the help that they need and deserve. Or they're often put on medications of some sort, and the medication is not appropriate for complex PTSD, and then they have suicide ideation or worse feelings, and things get actually worse. And so this is where um, mind body medicine can come in. And of course, I'm not saying you don't need pharmaceuticals or therapy. Certainly those can be helpful, but we can walk alongside of those therapies and actually speed the progress of healing and get through it faster. And so that you can regain your calm, regain your happiness, and actually feel like a human being again. So here's just a short excerpt of my story. I was actually developed complex PTSD from a previous long-term relationship. I actually did not know what it was. I was actually in therapy. I did not know. My therapist said, "You have PTSD," and I said, "I can't have PTSD. I've never been to war." And she said, "Oh, yes, you've been to war practically every day of your life." And so therapy, while was very validating that I had, that there was reasons why I was feeling the way I was not enough for me. So I had panic attacks. I had cycles of anxiety, depression. In fact, I had probably, this may be TMI, but I probably had nightmares for at least probably 5 years. I had night terrors for a long time. I had diarrhea all the time because of the anxiety. And while I appreciated my therapist, it was not enough. I knew I needed more, and I knew I'd already spent enough time with nightmares, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. Probably that was one of the biggest thing was every night, the fact that every morning I woke up, I was exhausted because I was fighting, 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 and I couldn't do it anymore. I was over it. I needed help. So that was when I actually started my PhD program at Saybrook University in the mind body medicine. And I started realizing that these exact therapies and these exact tools that I was learning actually was initiating in my own life, and they were working, and I was getting better. And I then also hired a positive psychology coach, and these two together were the magic formula to speed my healing. So instead of years and years and years with nightmares, etc., I started seeing real solid help in probably really less than 6 months. And now, when I look at where I am now versus where I was when I started my journey, just 3 years ago was when I started my PhD program, or actually, yeah, roughly 3 years ago. It's like a completely different person. And so now I teach these exact steps. And I myself, because I'm trained in positive psychology and have training in trauma based coaching, I'm not a therapist, but a coach. I use these exact steps, I use these exact tools and secrets with my private clients. And of course, I teach these as well, like when I'm teaching webinars or when I'm asked to speak at other people's events. So just stay with me if any of this resonates with you. You may be in therapy, but you feel like it's either not enough for you, or you feel like it's Groundhog Day and you have to just relive the story every time you go. Or you may be thinking therapy's great, but I'm just not moving forward anymore. One of my clients said, I've been in therapy for 30 years and I feel like I'm in the same spot. And again, there's no judgments. We often need therapists, and we often need to get a different type of support that therapy needs, but coaching is radically different. And while coaching is not therapy, it can be extremely, extremely therapeutic and actually help you move forward. And you might be looking for somebody who's knowledgeable, who's empathetic, who's kind, but yet can help you to step into your own power. And you might get stuck knowing what I should do, but you don't do it. And this is really where working with an expert can help. If you're ready to really shift your focus from your abuser to your healing, then definitely definitely stay with me, because this will be supportive to you. And if you're tired of just being stuck, right, and you're ready to move out of the tornado of emotions. If you are the victim of narcissism, borderline personality disorder, covert narcissism, or any kind of other emotional abuse, and you're struggling, this is going to be supportive to you as well. And of course, we only have a limited amount of time, and I can't share with you all of my secrets, 3 years of a PhD program, and of course my own healing and my own client, I have little time, but I'm going to share with you the top 3 that I feel like the most valuable. And then we'll talk about how to get deeper support later if this resonates with you. So mind body medicine, and here's a picture of me and the new pup, Slancha, my time Carnunos, the wild of Baystone, also known as Slancha, which is, if you go to an Irish pub, cheers. Anyway, so mind body medicine is a modern revolutionary approach to emotional and physical well-being. Experts like me do not rely on fads or smoke and mirrors. So this is really evidence-based medicine and not just some fad. We promote healing that includes a wide range of behavior and lifestyle interventions that are on an equal basis with conventional medicine or medical interventions. Mind body medicine focuses on the interactions among the body, mind, and spirit. And we look at the gestalt versus conventional medicine says this is the physical symptom, here's the pill. We look at what's going on entirety, mind, body, and spirit. Of course, we use under the umbrella, we use tools like hypnosis, music therapy, plant therapy, mindfulness. Oh, that's supposed to be visualizations. And so that's a error there. It must have changed it with my autocorrect. Sorry about that. But visualization meditations, anchoring, positive psychology is in the context of mind body medicine. And of course, mindfulness and as well. It looks like I have some error work I need to do there. So you're probably going, show me their transcripts of your PhD now that you're looking at this. That's okay. I'm happy to show you that if you like. Everybody makes mistakes, right? Nobody's perfect. So here are some of my top secrets and a couple of things just to get you started. So secret one is shake therapy. I actually learned this at the first RC and actually read the book as well on why tigers, what is it? Why zebras don't get ulcers. Anyway, shake therapy. I learned this a couple years ago and I loved it. And I incorporated it into my daily protocol that helped me heal, and I teach it to my clients as well. So shake therapy, also known as neurogenic tremors, can help reduce the overactivity of the nervous system and can provide physical release of stress. So think of a dog, right? You give your dog a bath, or if you've ever seen a dog come out of a lake or a pond, what is it they do? They shake, right? They shake it off. And so this idea of shaking or neurogenic tremors has actually been scientifically proven to help dissipate stress, can release the trauma that is stored in the body. And when you incorporate this, and in the book, I'm going to talk about actually a sample daily routine that you can do to help reduce stress, to dissipate it, and actually move forward towards healing. And shake therapy is one of the things not only I did every day, and I still do, but that I teach my private clients as well. And it seems silly, but it works. So let's talk about mindful breathing, secret number 2. And this is, again, one of the top secrets. And one of the first, when I work with my private clients, one of the first sessions that we have, mindful breathing is generally the first foundational tool that we use because we really need to get out of that fight or flight script, and we need to get into a relaxed state. And when we do this, we can actually start to think clearer, start to think more calm, and we can slowly start to decrease stress, and it can actually improve mood. It can increase our focus, increase creativity, and actually can help us to think outside of the trauma. So we're in this trauma brain all the time. I'm not going to talk about the amygdala and all that, but we're in this trauma brain all the time, this trauma script. And mindful breathing is one of the first things that we can do to get out of that, to drop again out of that fight or flight, and to start to regain and move those steps forward towards healing. And one of the apps that I recommend to my private clients is I Breathe. It's free, and it can actually get you started on mindful breathing, and you can set your timer and really want to direct that breath to the belly. Helps also balance your pH levels, can positively influence heart rate variability as well. You don't need fancy things like for pH to change your pH. You can actually do that with mindful breathing. So I Breathe is a great app. You can get started right away with that. And with my clients, we usually work out something that works for them. But 3 to 5 times a day, or once a day to start, and then the next week work up until it becomes like your default breathing. And this is hard. This is not easy. But of course, this is where working with someone who can support you can help, and you'll really see the benefit in the long run. All right, secret number 3, expressive writing or journaling. And this is really something that can be very, very beneficial to people that are in trauma. A lot of times they've never had their words heard. People always give them advice all the time, and they've got advice coming from everywhere, and they really don't need that. They really need supported and not advice giving. They really need the proper questions asked, which is what a positive psychology coach will do. And sometimes one of the things that supports my clients the best is expressive writing, because they can actually see what their words are. They can get validated. It can be an emotional release, right? And also can help them to shift out of that. So, gratitude journaling, for example, is one of the first things that we work on, because it can actually help that body to shift out of that trauma mode. Again, I'm not going to talk about the amygdala and all that, but you can see just small little positivity in the day. And those little things, these little building blocks, again, not a quick fix, right? Not the magic wand, but these little small things and can be the building blocks that can help you shift from the trauma mind to begin to heal, right? And to get that step by step process that you need. What we resist persists. So ignoring those feelings and trying to bury them deep is actually not going to help. And probably what was one of the things that, that I learned personally with my coach, that I hired, that I later trained under to provide this exact type of coaching that I now support my private clients with. And one of the things that I learned with her, Michelle, shout out, is what we resist persists. And I had learned this in martial arts. You just don't think about it, you don't talk about it, you just keep moving forward. But that doesn't really help. And while martial arts is certainly always has been very supportive to me, and I love martial arts, that was one of the things that probably was not helpful. We really do need to feel our feelings. We need to feel to heal. And we need to resist less and actually lay it on the table, see it, and actually work with my private clients on something that I call T for Two, where we can actually get that, get that, um, that seeing those feelings, seeing what's coming up for ourselves, and actually kind of sit out and view it and help our clients get some healing through that. And I call that T for Two. And of course, I teach that to my private clients. Not going into that today, but it's a really valuable exercise. I've taught that to other people. I've actually taught that to other coaches as well. And they have said that it has been supported to their clients as well. Any man could, if he were so inclined, be the sculptor of his own brain. And so really what all this does, and what I'm talking about in the book as well, is helps to create new pathways. And we can be thankful for something called neuroplasticity, which can create new pathways and can help you get support. So my clients feel heard, they feel validated, and they get support, and they learn tools, and I help mentor them in some ways, but they learn these tools that they can use and draw from years and years from now. So I may work with a client 90 days, 6 months, maybe a year tops. And then they're on their own, they've flown the coop, so to speak, because they have the tools they need. They don't have to come to me for years and years and years and years. We work together, we help them move forward. I give them the tools, and then they can refer back to those tools for the rest of their life. And this is really way more value than this groundhog day of having to see someone. And again, and I'm not against therapists. I think they're very valuable, and I'm not a therapist, and they are very valuable. And I don't want to discount that, but I think this is really where coaching is really very valuable, because we can help them move forward and give them the tools that they can refer to going forward, versus I'm not going to be with them for the rest of their life, so to speak. And again, such value in therapy. I don't want to discount that. I am a coach. I just think that the two together, or for therapy, for those people who it's not working very well for, the coaching can really be very therapeutic. Very therapeutic. I know it was for me personally, and my clients say the same thing. So I just want to give you two options now. You've got three easy tools that you can get started on. You know what? And I wouldn't be the powerful coach that I am if I didn't give you an action step or some choices to take action. So one thing that you can do, option one, of course, is just trial and error. You know, read books, look online, um, ask around. Typically, people ask around to friends or family, and these people are generally not skilled, and so they'll give them advice or whatever, but it doesn't help. So they spend time, they spend money, they look up things on the internet. And while this may be an option, typically what happens is people come to back to me a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later. They are easily in the same place or often worse than when they met me the first time around. And I honor you if you need to do that, and that is your choice. And if you need the trial and error, that's certainly your choice. And I really want to honor your journey. But I really think there's a better way, and I would like to offer you a better way. So option two is my little rat terrier, Ellie Mae. She passed last year of old age, and I miss her very much. But this is a little Ellie Mae. But option two is to get on a call with me so that we can actually dial in on where you are, and where you need support. There's no cookie cutter program here, right? It's really about you, where you are. And if you're struggling, like I was, and of course I reached out for support, and then I got trained to actually offer the support that I give now. And along with my PhD and my training at Saybrook as well, this is what I have done, is create my own step-by-step program that I work with my private clients. But if you're struggling, this can be very supportive, is to reach out to someone who's not only been there, but has the skills, who has the expert status, not trying to brag, but has the expert status that can actually help you. I don't really believe in accidents, so I really feel like if our paths have crossed, it may be valuable for you to get on a call with me. I know in my case, it was, I needed to speed my healing. I had started a PhD program. I had been in a long-term relationship, and I wanted to move forward. I wanted to, meet someone who I could do things with, and have friendships with. And I wanted to be calmer. I didn't want to have diarrhea every day. I was tired of the nightmares. That was probably my biggest thing, was years and years and years of nightmares. When I think about it, I actually just thought about it the other day. I was talking to somebody. I was like, I haven't had a nightmare in like a year or something like that. And that's a big deal, because I had them every night, literally for like 5 years. I mean, it was so, and then of course it drove me to, into like basically depression. And so I got the help that I needed, and I developed my program that I now use with my clients, that is going into my book through my mind body medicine research, and with my doctoral program at Saybrook, and which is actually my dissertation will be, which will be on complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So it's okay if you need help. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not weak if you need help. Everyone needs help from time to time, but make sure you get it from someone who is skilled, someone who is an expert in their field, and not just somebody, who you ask on Facebook. And this is probably one of the biggest things I see. I see people asking things on Facebook, and people responding, but they really don't have any training, and they don't have any skill. They're just offering an opinion. And opinions are fine, but I know for me, I wanted someone who was skilled. So here's a little picture of Mr. Slancha. So the biggest thing I think you can do, again, like I did, was get some support. And again, there's no cookie cutter approach to healing. And as an expert, of course, I use mind body medicine and positive psychology, because I know that's exactly what worked for me. And I know it has worked with my clients, which is why I'm writing the book that I'm writing on it, so that I can get that out into more people's hands, particularly women, which is who I serve, but because I want to see people happy. I want to see people calm. So the support working with me can be for you if you are ready to take action, right? If you're not ready to take action, it's not your time yet, and there's no judgments on there. If you're ready to unlearn and let go of some of your unhealthy limiting beliefs, this can be supportive, this can be for you. If you're ready to step outside your comfort zone a bit, even a small amount, this is for you. If you're ready to shift your focus from your abuser to begin healing again in small things, this is for you. If you're really ready to walk some unfamiliar steps and with support, right? With support and with the tools from a professional, then this is for you. So what does that look like? Look, I'm not a fairy, right? I'm not a magic fairy, but I do have tools first to help. And this, of course, is GP with her, one of the Read to Rover pictures. And look, it's not magic. I'm not going to lie about that. Anybody tells you that it's an overnight magic thing generally is probably not a skilled practitioner, and they're probably just trying to sell you something. But our work together can help your transformation, and so that you can let go of that codependent script that's been installed within you. We learn how to face and overcome fears, self-sabotage, and other internal scripts that's probably been instilled within you for a long, long time so that you can create calm and happiness. Will it be easy? Probably not. It was not easy for me. Will it be worth it? Absolutely. I can't imagine where I would be right now had I not hired my coach, got trained in this style of coaching, and learned the mind body medicine protocols that I now teach and I'm writing in my book with my clients. I have no idea. I know I probably have nightmares every night and still be in a very not so good place. And that's not what I want for anybody, which is the reason why I share my work. And, you know, and the reason why I'm writing the book too. I have a dog chewing on my hand right now. So here is the link to get on a free call with me. Typically, a 30-minute call is $97, and I do that because otherwise people will call me and try to sell me things and sign me up for things that I'm not interested in. But if you're watching this webinar, if you're my private group, you get a call for free. It is simple. All you have to do is fill out the questionnaire, and that just helps us to make the best use of our time together so that we're not spinning our wheels in that 30 minutes, so we can dial right in on what's coming up for you and the best next steps for you. And again, no cookie cutter program, but I have tools that can be supported. On our call, after we dial in and talk about what those next steps may look like for you, I also will send you a resource or two via email so that you can get started right away. Now, imagine this. Imagine feeling calmer, happier. In my case, nightmares. The nightmares ended. What if the panic attacks started to slowly reduce, and then one day you realize you haven't had one for 6 months? That happened to me. What if you feel more confident and you stepped into your own power and you made your own decisions and not everybody else's decisions for you? Like all those people say, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. We don't need all that. Wouldn't the call be worth it? So I'll hope that you will click the link and get on a call with me, fill out the application that goes with it so that you can get the free call. If you don't fill out the application, it is a paid call, but I want you to fill out the application so that when we get on a call together, we can actually make the best use of our time, dial in exactly on where you need the support, and then we can talk about the next best steps that would be supportive to you in your unique situation. So again, the link is www.mawkelly.as.me. That directly links you to my personal calendar. and where we can set up a call. My website is Kelly with an I.com. If you'd like more information about my work, you can go there. If you'd like to see my curriculum vitae, it's on there. If you like access to the research I've done for these past 50 academic hours in my PhD program, reach out. I'm happy to send you any of the resources, references, et cetera, as well, if any of this calls to you, if you're a practitioner, or just the research in general, you like to research, you can reach out to me. I also have a private group on Facebook, so you can look me up, Kelly Hugert. Look for the Irish Terrier, probably. And I'm out there, so just reach out. I'd love to connect with you, and I'd love to hear from you. So this is Kelly Hugert. Kind of sounds like yogurt, and be blessed in all that you do.